Hi everyone, it's Kim. Thanks for joining me. As we say a fond farewell to summer this year as the kids head back to school and hopefully the temperatures start to come down, let's take a look at the one thing that kept us cool this summer, and that is water. Whether it be at the ocean, the lake, the kiddie pool in the backyard, or maybe just our own cool shower, let's take a look at what we can do with water. And I think all the heat kind of made me delirious because I'm looking at some of my dies and my stencils in a very different way this year. And I want to start with this one. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you when I first laid eyes upon this die, what I thought it was or what it would work for. Now, this is a die that I purchased recently online from Elizabeth Craft Designs. It was in their clearance section online. But when I saw this, I thought of one thing, and I thought, that looks like water coming up along the shoreline, like at the beach. So let me show you. I cut it out of water paper, and I thought that really does look like how water laps up onto the shore. So I also looked at this when I first saw this. I thought, and this is like the bubbles coming up in the water. So I did cut that as well. I can't say that once I die cut that out, I got the same feeling about it. Let's turn it this way. And I even put, let's just say I put some paper underneath that. I didn't quite feel the same way about the die with these bubbles, but I really, really liked this look. And I'm going to show you what this die really is. It isn't water. And for those of you who maybe have not seen this before, this is a Christmas tree. And I'm going to flip it over. If you look right here, you could see the outline of a Christmas tree, and then the holes would be like the baubles on the Christmas tree. But when I first saw this, that is not what I had imagined. I imagined it as water. So let me show you what I did with it, and this is how I'm going to use it as water. The other thing I did, then sometimes it's kind of foamy when the water comes up. So I took and cut out a piece of white paper and just lined the edge of that with some white to hopefully make it look like even more realistic coming up along the beach there or the shoreline. And so I finally thought, time to make a card. So I have my lady relaxing in the sun along the shoreline. I didn't put anything on this. I just wanted to use her. I like this die. Again, I have been buying a lot more online because I don't have a stamp and scrapbook store 20 minutes away like I used to. So I am looking a lot more online. And I'll be honest, if things are on sale, then I'm really looking at them. So I purchased this on spellbinders.com or spellbinderpaperarts.com. This was on sale, but I always liked this lady. Somehow I could identify with her. So she is lounging on her towel there along the shoreline. So then as I kept working on my water theme here, I had this laying down on my desk, and it's a rose. It's a stencil from Sizzix, and again, I purchased this on sale online, and this one is called Belle of the Ball Adornment, and I was probably like kind of looking at it this way, and I thought, that could be water too. So I changed up the colors, and I thought, yeah, I could turn this around. This might make some good water. And so I did the same thing. I die cut this out using the Christmas tree die from Elizabeth Craft Designs and backed it with some water backed it with a white piece. This time I used a piece of vellum, and I had put the tape over it. This was like a little leftover piece. So here I lined it up along my beach, my sand cardstock, and I haven't decorated this one, but this is ready to go. But that works for water too. You would never have any idea that that was a floral stencil. So just look at the shape, change the colors up, you're good to go. So once again, I was working on something totally irrelevant here, and I pulled this out. This is something I had done a long time ago, and I knew when I saw this, this was the Concord and Ninth turnabout stamp, and I knew if I changed the colors again, I would have another great water, piece of paper that I could use for water. So this is a stamp. These were the turnabout stamps. This is marble turnabout. Um, I doubt this is even available on Concord and Ninth. I don't know. I haven't checked, but this is old. And I can remember when the turnabout stamps came out, how popular they were and what a neat design this could create. So this has always been my favorite one. Pulled that stamp out, and I did have to dig for it. And I did it just using blues. And I thought, yes, this is going to work for paper as well. So I did a couple of these with the different colors of blue and different backgrounds, different solid color cardstock. So this is the one. Let me show you this here. Actually, I'm going to show you something else first, where this idea came from. So I love to collect quotes and whatnot off the internet or just wherever. And I saw this one on Instagram is where I was on. And it says, be brave even if you're not, pretend to be. And I love that fish with the shark fin on it. And I have kept this thinking, I know I have a goldfish die somewhere that I can use. And I saw the fish that I wanted to use on Spellbinders. I knew I had it somewhere and I dug it out. So this is the fish, the little goldfish I have on top of that marbled water background from the Concord and Ninth Turnabout stamp. And this time I did it on the lighter blue cardstock. So you can kind of see a difference here between the cardstock, just changing the back or the color of the cardstock from white to light blue. And I love my little fish. So to make it a shark, I thought, well, I need a shark fin. The fish that I used is from the Splash Tails. This is a monthly die from Spellbinders. This was August 1920, or excuse me, August 2025. And it's got some different pieces to it. But I thought that is a good little goldfish that I can use. I needed a fin, and I probably could have just looked at that picture and cut one out. I knew I had a shark from Karen Burniston. Unfortunately, the fin on the shark is a little small for my fish, but I could use this as I die cut this top piece out and use it as a pattern just to kind of give me a guide to trace around it. And I did have to kind of mess with this part just to make it look like it fit my fish a little better. I just hand cut these straps. I thought that's just as easy as trying to find a strap die. And then for the buckle, I just cut out a teeny tiny piece, a teeny tiny square piece, and then just outlined it with a green pen and stuck it on that strap. You get the idea of what it is. And then finally, the last little thing that I wanted to do, this little bitty gem, I found these at Michael's. These are teeny tiny little rhinestones, and the size of this is SS3. And the first time I looked at these, I could not believe how tiny they were. But I thought, I'm going to get a pack of these and try them in, like, for the pupil or the highlight of the eyes of either my animals or my people dies. But just that little bitty rhinestone, I was fascinated by how small those were. So to finish this off, then my ocean edge here, I did pull out, I had this from Karen Burniston, really any kind of nature edge. You could hand cut it just to kind of give me some waves there. That would be easy just to hand cut if you don't have any kind of a hillside die or a water die. Be Brave is from one of my Tim alphabets. This is alphanumeric bold. So that just fit in there. And then I didn't have what it says on the Instagram example. So I have a bunch of different sentiments and quotes, encouragement related. So this is the one, life is tough, but you're tougher. I pulled this off this hero art stamp. Now, again, I think this is an old stamp. This is called, let's see if I can read it, encouragement sentiment strips. But any kind of an encouragement sentiment, I think, would work with my goldfish that has put on its shark fin. But again, another way to use the water, and I was just thrilled that I could use some things, old things in my stash. Now, I also thought I have something else coming up here. We know the Halloween holidays are coming up. I need some kind of scary water. So I did the same thing. This time, though, I wanted my water to look a little more eerie and dark. And so I used that Concord and Ninth stamp again. This is on gray cardstock. And I did use the darker colors. And I even used black as one of my colors. So this eerie little scene will come back to haunt us again. But this is using the stage die. I've got something in mind for this. This is the stage die pop-up from Karen Burniston, the stage pop-up. And then she also has a border out with the waves, and that is a sea stage add-on. So I used the one here just to get the waves around the stage. So we will see this again. And then my guy coming up there from underneath the water is an old Elizabeth Craft die. I've always loved this one. This is called Sea Creatures. And see this, I know I have a bunch of tape on this, but you can kind of see on the back side here what all that is. Again, I got this off the clearance section of Elizabeth Craft Designs, ecraftdesigns.com. So you might see if this is still available if you're interested in any of those pieces. But again, we're going to see this base because I do have something in mind. I made those colors specific for the upcoming Halloween holiday. One last thing, kind of using supplies that we don't think about for cards, and I have to credit this to a healthcare worker that I know. She showed me what they do with these little, or what you can do with these little cups, and a lot of times they use this to put their pills or tablets that they give their patients, for them to take with water. Anyway, she was showing me what she did with this. These are called paper souffle portion cups or condiment cups. You can get them off of Amazon. This is the half-ounce size. So they do have some bigger ones, but this is the half-ounce size. You can see what she showed me to make with it. This flower, I was amazed. And all you have to do is unroll this edge, and it takes a minute to do that. Sometimes I can get this done really fast. But, take your time to unroll that so you get this nice edge. Once you do, it looks like this. And then you can just ink it up and cut out a center. Now, how can we use this for a water scene? So I had colored one. I'm going to show you what I did. I had colored that, just playing with it. And I had sitting again on my desk this embossed background here. And I thought, wow, those colors match my background. And I had done this a long time ago. I had purchased this Lisa Horton Sea Coral embossing folder, this 3D embossing folder. And I was just playing with it. I didn't have anything that I was going to make in particular. So it was just sitting there, colored and ready to go. And then when I saw this, I thought, well, this is some kind of an underwater flower. So let me show you really quickly how I did this. If you want to use this as a flower, all you have to do, obviously, is open it up, color it, and then make your own center and put it on the card. To do this, I needed to scrunch it up a little bit. So after I colored it, I did spritz it with water because I used Distress ink just to get it to kind of blend those colors, and I've got my little spots on it. And then I need to kind of soften this up. So I just worked it, and what I want to do is I ultimately need to fold it up like this. This is the center. So I just work this, and I have already done that, so it's softer. And then I kind of opened it back up, and I can see already I want my edges to be together, so it forms a circle as best it can. And I'm going to pinch it up probably a good 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to just kind of do this to make sure that it's, when I lay it out, it's going to be somewhat flat and evenly dispersed here along the edges. So that looks pretty good. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hold that. I'm not going to twist it because I need that center to be fairly evenly dispersed. And I'm just going to take some thread, and we'll see how fast I can do this here. So if you like this idea and you're looking for some of these little cups, just get on Amazon, and again, look up paper souffle portion cups or condiment cups. I think that's what I looked up at the first time. I think I looked up nut cups, but if you look up condiment cups. And then I'm going to wrap this thread around here fairly tight because I want it to hold the center together. And then just tie a knot here. Let's see if I can get that done. I have to concentrate when I'm trying to tie my knots here. But then just trim the thread. Don't trim this piece off. And then you can gently open this up. And if you want to color the outside edge here, if you're afraid that's going to show, you can do that as well. But there I go. And then I'm just going to bend this over. I'm not going to trim it because I don't want it to all fall apart. And there I go. And if I show you on this, you can see where I've just tucked that underneath. It doesn't, get in the way or anything. But then that way I don't have to worry about this coming apart. And then I've got my little goldfish from the Spellbinders monthly kit again. And then this is also from that same Spellbinders die. But I love how that came out. And another way to use, a cup. Who would have thought this could turn into this? So again, maybe it's the summer heat that's kind of forced me to look at things differently. I don't know. But one last thing I want to share with you, because Halloween is coming up for all of you Halloween lovers. Hero Arts is the one that has the 13 days of crafty treats. This is now available. So get online, heroarts.com, go to your local stamp and craft store, see if they perhaps have it. This is like the Advent calendar, 13 days. And on the back, it tells us what's included. There's 2 stamp and cut sets, so a stamp and die set, 11 die sets, a stamp set, and an embellishment pack. And this kind of gives us a little peek of what's in here. I'm going to save this till mid-September, and then I will start opening this one day at a time. Now is the time to get it because we know they're going to go fast. So I leave you with a look of Halloween or Heroween as we say goodbye to summer. So check out your stamps and dies, your stencils, and if you're in need of some unique water to finish off your summer crafting, just look at what you've got and see if you can come up with a unique water look here. I'm looking for my lady laying in the sun. And I don't know where she went. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. And I will see you again in a future video.